Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Today we are joined by Juliana Valadares Saili, and we're going to be discussing unlocking potential with AI, how we empowered our educators and our learners. Just a brief bit of housekeeping. As we go through the webinar today, you will have the opportunity to ask some questions. If you put those in the Q&A tab, we'll have some time at the end to answer all of those. But please also do use the chat as we go through and interact with others also attending. Over to you, Juliana.
I'm having a little bit of trouble here trying to sort out my screen. Hello, everybody. Welcome. And let's get started. I cannot see myself anymore. I don't know what I've done here, but I can see my screen. So Ellie, can you just confirm you can see me in the screen?
I can see you, but we can't see your slides.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what happened. Is it when we went on air, the slides disappeared?
Possibly, yes. So if you just share those again.
Okay, so share. Oops. I put something else, invite. Share screen options. I'd say that one participant can share at a time. I don't know if I lost the privilege to be able to share. So that's when.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
See. It's not a webinar without a little bit of tech difficulty, is it? So
let's try again. Okay, here maybe. Can you share now?
There we go. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so when I revisited, I submitted the proposal for this so long ago that when I looked at it, I thought, oh my God, this is such an ambitious title. How we empowered our educators and learners, because we are still empowering them. We still continue this journey of empowerment. And of course, the tools are getting smarter, the tools are getting more versatile. So it's an ongoing process. So what we'll be doing today is we're going to be looking at how AI tools can support our everyday planning and how to practice our prompts and how to help our learners to use AI more independently. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey to begin with. So if we go back 2 years in time, so academic year of 23-24, started the year very reluctant to use AI. Actually, I thought that AI would never get into my classroom. And my students were using AI badly. So they were using AI to produce homework, to write emails to myself. I'm very grateful to them for always being honest. If I said, did you use AI for this? And they would own up that they had. And I thought, okay, I'm the adult in the room. I need to educate myself. I need to learn how to use the monster. So I went through a journey with them where we used AI in most lessons. And that was sort of documented in this article that came out in Intuition in this spring. I went on a sabbatical last year, and during the sabbatical, I went back to Brazil. That's where I'm from. And there I use AI to plan nice days out. But also something happened when I was, I teach, my friends say that I am a born teacher. I'm always teaching. So I teach my friends how to use AI. And then from this kind of bar conversation came an invitation to explore sharing AI in the corporate world. So that's me here in São Paulo in Brazil, talking to a group of 80 auditors. Initially, I was quite scared to think, I've been talking to teachers about AI, but I know nothing about the corporate world. But I use AI to help me plan and make the sessions relevant to that public. So back in the UK, this is a session that I delivered in July to my colleagues here at the college, Slough and Langley College, talking about my sabbatical adventures. Part of the sabbatical adventures was to write a book about bringing my daughter up bilingual in the UK. So I wrote the book in Portuguese. I then used AI to translate it to English. And I would say the translation was not bad. There were a few things, a few adjustments here and there, but it was really good. AI also created the cover of the book. And I'll be launching this book at the end of November. So if you are curious to see how AI made that happen. But to use the title of the session of how AI empowered our teachers and our students, I'll give you an example of a student that was in my class in that academic year of 23. I'm sorry, I'm in a room that has in a classroom that has a sort of motion detector. So I lost the light. So this student, she was in my class in that year when I started using AI. I often refer to her as my AI teacher, because a lot of the things that I taught in the class, she would go home, try it out, and she would multiply the discoveries. So here's a picture of her delivering on how to unlock maths with AI session to classmates last September. And I was there just assisting. So she actually designed the session, planned the delivery, and delivered to her classmates. Here was her last October in the AI Summit here at our college, interviewing a Google rep. This is with our Director of Technology. And then she went to the BET fair and presented there as well. She was 10 minutes on stage with our head of technology. And this academic year, so this student had just been in the UK for about 2.5 years, and she got a grade 7 in her GCSEs, and she used AI to help her. So now she's delivering also sessions on how to prepare for GCSE English with AI. So this is just a few examples of how we've been using AI here, or me personally, but a lot of my colleagues have been on this journey now, and a student. But now it's a little question to you. What is your go-to AI tool? If you can pop that into the chat, and we are going to practice with a couple today. Okay, so we hear a lot of ChatGPT, some Perplexity, a few Copilot, Gemini. Okay, some of you saying you don't really use it yet. So this is hopefully today you will feel a bit inspired to start using it. Okay, so I'll tell you my few go-to AI tools. I have recently, because of a job that I had with a corporate client, who said they were very, very experienced with AI, I took out a subscription of ChatGPT. Before, I only had the free version, which is more than adequate depending on what you want to do. So because I have that paid version now, it has become my main AI go-to tool. This one here is Claude. I love Claude. So for the book that I wrote, my editors of the book were both ChatGPT and Claude. And we will do an activity later using Claude. But really, it does not matter which AI tool you use, because they are so competitive. They are competing so much against themselves that one tool releases one feature, the other one, in the next week or so, will release the same feature. There are a couple of really cool things with Gemini that are not available in the other ones. For example, Storybook, if you haven't used, something to explore later. Okay, so let's see here. This year, one of my latest discoveries, if a lot of you said that you use ChatGPT, I've checked with Gemini, it doesn't seem to have to be there, is this project option. So project is a way, it's pretty much a folder where you can organize all your chats. So, for example, for the book that I wrote, it's called Our Bilingual Journey, I have a project for it. And it's got a lot of context. So when I start a chat, I don't have to repeat the context. It's something that I recommend that you explore. We are not going to have a lot of time to do this in detail today, but I can show you. Ellie, could you just confirm that you can see my screen when I'm moving there?
Yes, can see that.
Myself. Okay, so on ChatGPT, I opened a brand new account just for this webinar here. If you see here where you have the chats, you've got this project folder. So if you can start, for example, this year, I have a project for each of my classes. So one of the classes I teach is called Study Skills and AI. So you put that there and you create the project. Now you then describe the project. So here you will, the chat is covering here. You can add files. So for example, you can add your scheme of work to this project. You can add course specifications, specifications, exam tasks, and that will create this whole context. And your project folders will be here. Okay, so that's just a very quick whiz through something that I started using this year, and I absolutely love it because I've started teaching new courses. For example, I teach work skills, and for the first time I've been teaching it. So I put all the specification there and my scheme of work, which was created with AI, in there. And I would say, help me plan week 7 with this topic. And because it's got memory, you know, a lot of the tools that we are using, if you favor activities, for example, this lesson's a 2-hour lesson, so I always want activities that will get them moving in the room. ChatGPT, which I usually use for this because I have a project for that, understands that I want movement. So now I don't even need to say that I want activities where students are going to get off their seats. It plans that for me already. We will talk about planning and evaluating the planning afterwards. So projects is something, as this is going to be recorded, later you can go back to that, but I use ChatGPT to create this page here, how to set up a project in ChatGPT. So if you ask ChatGPT how to set up a project, it's going to give you these steps anyway. But it will be there recorded, so you can pause the video and you can try to set up a project yourselves. So that was just a little bit of sharing of what's new. As I mentioned there, one of the courses that was set up in the college where I teach at the moment is called ESO Study Skills Meet AI. So Study Skills Meet AI rather, and it's part of the ESO program. And what was new with that? The first class that I've shared with you, and that it's in the article in the spring issue of Intuition, was with a B1 class. So that's those students are in an intermediate level of English. And this year, our head of department decided to introduce it to entry-level students. So I've been doing AI, study skills and AI with entry 2 and entry 3 students. The lesson that I just taught before I came to deliver this webinar was on Black History Month, and the students had to research, so they had to choose a person, and they would experiment with the different types of output. So they would have to adjust their prompt. For example, give me 3 facts about Rosa Parks, or write a small paragraph about Rosa Parks, or write a table including the different sort of relevant information about Rosa Parks. So they would experiment with the different prompts and the output. So it's something to try with students too. But talking about prompts, that's what I would like you to think. And then maybe if you could pop into the chat, if you've got some suggestions there of what makes an effective prompt. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to get a sip of water. It seems. I'll try to have a look at some of your suggestions. Explaining your role, very good. Relevance. Yes, I like someone that said, ask ChatGPT to create your prompt for you. Absolutely. For me, especially, I'm not very good at creating images, prompting for images. So I say to ChatGPT, that's what I have in mind. Can you create that prompt? Very good. Using the framework, absolutely. I don't know what parts means, but I use it's probably a very similar one, which is Spark. So it's, you're giving your scenario, your persona. So very good. A lot of very good ideas there in the chat. Absolutely. So let's have a look at these prompts. So they're all prompts there, and you can tell me one or two would be a better prompt. Still not perfect. Okay, so why would two be better than one in this case? We're asking it to create a lesson plan, right? And number one just says, please help me plan a lesson. Doesn't say the length of the lesson. It doesn't give details of the kind of activities that you expect. It does say the level of the student. Whereas prompt two says the length of the lesson, and then it gives you the topic, which was also in the first one. But it says, well, the lesson should include a reading task using an adapted article, a vocabulary focus on education and tech terms, and it gives examples of the terms that it wants, and a discussion. So, of course, prompt 2 would generate a much better output. But have a look at this prompt 3, which is the one that we'll be using with Claude in a second. Okay, this one is even asking what the AI tool to use British spelling, which is something that if you forget, you can always ask it afterwards, but then we need to be mindful of our planet. Every time that we make a request, we are creating energy demand. I'm going to go to Claude here. ChatGPT. I thought I had Claude open. I do. Okay, so this is Claude. If you haven't used it before, I love the way, if you can say that, Claude thinks. I'm going to paste that. Let's see, in the new chat. Let's see if that worked. Seems to have a little bit of a problem here. Okay, maybe I was doing the history. Okay, so that is me asking Claude to help us plan that lesson. If you have a AI tool open, you might want to try it together. So do it on yours as well. So as we were saying, the way Claude thinks, Claude's is saying that it's gathering its thoughts there. Still working on it, stand by. We are so used to really, really quick replies from AI that this seems like when we're using the old modem. I don't know what happened here. It is taking much longer than I had anticipated. I'm using a different browser, not using Chrome. Okay, here we go. It is actually here. So the way Claude works, it creates an artifact. It's what it's called. But let's see, it tells you what it's done for us, which I quite like before you actually look at the lesson plan. So it says, oh, I've created a 60-minute lesson plan of how is AI changing education. And then it tells us what it's done. Adapted the reading text, 10 key vocabulary items, mingling speaking activity, clear staging, visible differentiation, and British English. I'm going to copy this and then I'll paste it on a Word document so that we can see it better. Sorry, this is something I use with my students so that they could use during their half term. So Control N, Control V, I should have. Can you see my screen, Ellie? Yeah? It's all okay? You can see the Word document?
Yep, can see all of that.
Yeah. Okay, so this was quite a long lesson plan that Claude generated for us. But we've got here the lesson aims, the stages there, the lead in, the pre-teacher vocabulary, and the procedures. It also even tell us how to drill pronunciation here. If I have any fellow ESOL student or ESOL teachers there, gives us a just reading task. So, and that's the adapted text that it created. So now this is the job that, although I was getting impatient thinking that it took a long time to plan, nothing like the time that it would take us to plan, right? But this is what is important now. The time that you will spend is evaluating this lesson plan, looking at that lesson plan, deciding if that lesson plan is you. Does it reflect your teaching style? When it generated there, although I said it was B1, maybe you have a very strong B1 and you think, oh, this level is too easy for my students. This is where the work starts. The work starts in the evaluation. So when you're going to look at the output, and if there is something that you didn't like about the output, maybe is it something to do with our prompt? Did we not prompt it correctly? Did we not prompt it well? So that we can tweak our prompt and do it again. I think this is a very, very quick evaluation here, but if you could have a look at the stages, it's got here feedback and cooler at the end. So write 4 examples of good language you heard on the board and praise the students, even telling the instructions for the teachers here. The materials needed, the notes on for differentiation. For the time that we have spent here, just at a first glance, it's a lesson plan that I could probably lift and teach from it. What Claude didn't give us, let's have a look at the end here of the conversation. Now, it just asked us, is there anything you would like me to adjust or expand? That was the only question. With ChatGPT, normally my experience is that it would ask me, do you want me to generate the PowerPoint? Do you want me to generate the worksheet on Word or PDF? And it's usually very good. And when I ask it to create the worksheet or the PowerPoint, I say, can you please put the diligence statement? This was created with AI assistance, so that I practice transparency with the learners. So this is Claude helping us with a lesson plan. We will have a look at this. This has really helped me this academic year, especially with new courses, because sorry, I should have with the new courses, for example, in work skills, I'm teaching equality and diversity, and it's something that I hadn't taught before. I use AI a lot to help me plan for equality and diversity, to think about scenarios where equality and diversity were applied or not applied, and everything I use AI to help me. Sometimes, yesterday, I had an idea in the car on my way to work. I got the lift using the dictaphone, asking ChatGPT to plan this lesson that I had just thought about. And by the time I got into the staff room, I had worksheets for that lesson. So again, our work is to look at the material and think whether we can we evaluate and think. For example, the lesson that I did yesterday, it was on Black History Month, and it created gave me 8 famous people, 3 female and 5 male. It's something that maybe you want to have it more balanced, and you wanted to say, oh, can you please create this with 50% female, 50% male. So it's something that you do with your evaluation. This prompt that I used for Claude was a 0-shot prompting. So I gave the instructions and no examples. I could now, maybe I love this lesson plan, and that lesson plan becomes sort of a sample lesson plan for me. I could upload that lesson plan for Claude as an example of a lesson plan and give Claude a different topic and say, based on the lesson plan that I've attached there, can you create a 60-hour lesson on topic X? So that would be a 1-shot prompting. Few-shot prompting is, you give a couple of examples, and a chain of thought prompting, you say, first I want you to research all the changes that AI is bringing about in education. Then I want you to organize that on a table for me of pros and cons. Then I want you to plan a lesson. So you give the step-by-step. This is one style of prompting, but like you guys said in the chat, there is the framework. So you can use a framework to prompt. You can provide, for example, with lesson planning, you can provide a pro forma and say plan using this pro forma, which will help. So we have a lot of ways of prompting AI. Transparency. I mentioned transparency when I ask AI to create the worksheets, and I say, please write at the bottom, like here, for example, in this PowerPoint, it says created by Juliana Valadares Saili, assisted by AI. Or sometimes I don't even say my name, I would just say created with AI assistance. And I'm modeling transparency. So with the students, when I say that AI helped me create their lesson, I will say what my role was. My role was as the prompter and evaluating the material there. So working with AI as a collaborator. And when the students use AI, and sometimes I want them to use AI, for example, I want them to ask AI to mark their work, and they're going to write 2 drafts, a first draft and a second draft of that. I want them to write what AI did for them. So marked by AI, for example. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So moving from what AI can do for us teachers, which is a lot, as we just discussed there, how can AI help our learners? Can you pop some ideas there on the chat for me, please? Oops. Trying to get to the chat. Some lovely ideas then in the chat. If you can all follow the chat there. So you've got careers advice. Absolutely. And I have to say, I've been using AI a lot for my personal projects. And it's fantastic for career advice for, if you ask AI to help to act as a LinkedIn consultant and help you tidy up your LinkedIn, for example, it's brilliant. Okay, very good. So we're looking at inclusivity there. So I teach ESOL, and AI has really helped our ESOL learners, because things that would be far too difficult for them to understand, now they are able to access. So one of the things that I taught them, first thing, still today, they sometimes forget, and then they add afterwards, is to start with, I am an ESOL entry 2 student. And the output will be completely different. If they ask, for example, about Rosa Parks, saying, tell me about Rosa Parks, it's super difficult for an entry 2 student to understand. So then if they explain their context, is very good, because I saw that someone there talked about SEN students. So yes, special needs, language needs, fantastic. Generate PowerPoint, yes, for us teachers, absolutely. For students as well. I agree, students need repetition. The way I use AI with students in class, I love that prompt as well, Christopher, the one explain as if I were a 10-year-old, explain, and actually the analogies that AI makes is really good. I really encourage you to have a look at the chat, because you guys are producing very, very good ideas of how AI can help our learners. I think I got a bit distracted reading the chat, and I thought I lost my train of thought, but it will come back. So fantastic. We're going to move on here to have a look at some examples of how AI can help our students. So understand concepts more clearly. So that was Christopher's prompt. Explain it as if I were 10. The case with my students, I say to them, say in the beginning, I am an ESOL entry 2 student. I am an ESOL entry 3 student. And it's going to be a lot clearer. Practice the language that they've learned. So if they've just learned, let's say, about equality and diversity, they can say to an AI tool, I have just been learning about this. Give them the context, whatever the course that they are studying. Could you provide some more practice exercises? And the way that AI does it, it scaffolds it. I love it without prompting. It already gives you an easier one, and it moves on to harder, more open, free practice. Learn from mistakes. I wrote in that first article that Intuition published, learn from mistakes, that I learned this with the students. Instead of prompting AI, correct my mistakes. What if you do that, AI corrects your mistakes. The magic is list my mistakes. So that's what I teach the students. We do this in class a few times, where they write something and then they take a photograph. I'm amazed at how good the recognition is of their handwriting, sometimes even better than me. They take a photograph and they say, list my mistakes. I encourage them to use a different color pen to the one that they wrote originally, and then go over following the AI's list, and then try to correct it themselves. If not, they can then move to ask AI, can you please now correct the mistakes for me? Which is fantastic. So you can imagine for a lot of the courses that we teach in FE, we can give the AI tool the criteria that is going to be the assessment, ask them to list this, very good for SPAG, and then also to ask them to give advice to move that piece of writing on. In the case of ESOL learners, but I imagine, with any less confident speaker, you can use voice mode to practice with AI. So I've been just setting targets with students recently, and I have some students who are so quiet, and I've practiced with AI, practiced my Spanish with AI. So I know firsthand that first, the quality of the interaction, you don't feel like you're talking to a machine. It feels like you're talking to someone there on the other side. And it corrects you. It will say, oh, actually, this is a better way to say that. And what I say to the students, that's it. You don't have to be shy, because you're not talking to someone. There is no judgment on the other side, which is brilliant for speaking confidence. Sometimes I tell the student, a bit of flipped learning, what the discussion is going to be on the next lesson, and I ask them to have that discussion with AI the night before. It's a different level of discussion when they come to class. So building the right skill, review, revise for exams, or just, literally the end of the week with their course book. We've learned these topics. Can you help me revise? And it could be also that the learner can teach AI what they've learned, and I can sort of fill in the gaps there. Okay, so that's AI as a tutor. That first article, the March article, April, the spring article in the Intuition has a lot of these ideas. If you have missed it, just try to read it. So student prompts, how to use AI as a tutor. I think this is, as I mentioned, a start prompt there. List my mistakes. So here's a paragraph I wrote about AI in schools. Can you point out grammar, vocabulary, spellings? So they can just call SPAG, AI will understand, without correcting them. But if you say list my mistakes, it does that already. And then please mark this piece of writing. Sorry, I clicked on something here. Mark this piece of writing using this exam criteria. Of course, you need to feed the criteria to the tool. I usually send the criteria to the students via email so that they can just copy and paste. And they have that there. You can put that in a Google Classroom, for example, so the exam criteria, and the students can use that. But I don't like, I do give some prompts to students, but I really, there's note below here. I think it's important that students try the different prompts, because when they try the different prompts, they learn the difference of saying, tell me about Rosa Parks, give me 5 facts about Rosa Parks, write a paragraph. So the output would be different. So it's important that they go through, is this output what I wanted? Why can't I understand this? And then go back and become more independent with their prompting. But I do have, lists like the one that I accidentally showed you when I was pasting the Claude lesson plan on Word. There was a list I shared with my students so that it was in the Google Classroom so that they could use it over the half term there. So this is something that I do with them, which is, this is a Google Doc. And we have here, everybody feeds into this. So this is not my prompts. This is prompts that the students created as well. Like I said, number 1 here, it wasn't my prompt. It was one of the students who realized that when you say list my mistakes, it's completely different. So this is a live document. So everyone was kind of, I just took a screenshot, but they are like, tens of prompts there that students generated together. Okay. Voice mode. When I was trying this with Ellie before the session started, the video that I've got didn't work. So let's see if it was going to work here. But I don't know if you guys use voice mode already. Maybe in the chat, do you use voice mode, and what do you use it for? A lot of the tools now have voice mode, even tools that didn't used to have it. And ChatGPT now has British accent, which is amazing. Oh yeah, through your watch. I haven't tried that yet. That's brilliant. Okay, voice mode is fantastic. Remember the example? Actually, I didn't use voice mode for that one. I used it, when I was in the lift planning the lesson. It was the dictation. So I didn't use voice mode there. But I like voice mode for bouncing off ideas. So if I have an idea, I love walking. So sometimes I'm walking in the park and then I think of something. And sometimes I just want a record. I start a conversation with ChatGPT. It transcribes the conversation. So it's really good. I'm just trying to look at the chat here to see how you guys use voice mode. Okay, so yes, if you can't hear it, then voice mode doesn't work, of course, Anita. Help check answers. No, that was before. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you an example of a student using voice mode. I don't know if it's going to play because it didn't play earlier.
No, there's no sound again.
No sound. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what was happening here. It's a shame you can't hear it, because it would be lovely for you to hear the response from this was ChatGPT. The student simply said, ChatGPT, can you please have a conversation with me about college? And ChatGPT, using a female voice, which is the voice that the student chose, said, of course. What aspects of college do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about any specifics? And the student says, well, let's talk about college in general. And ChatGPT then says, let's start with academics. What's your favorite subject in college? And that conversation flows really well. I've got other videos of students saying, help me prepare for the students moving from ESOL into mainstream courses, and they were having interviews. So help me prepare for an interview for this business course at college. If you put the link of the course that they are applying for into ChatGPT, ChatGPT will have context of the course that they want to apply for and will tailor the questions. Very good for interview questions. So when the course that I was teaching in work skills last time was preparing for job interviews. And it was fantastic to give that assignment for them to say, you know, Costa Coffee seemed to be our main employer. We have one across the road. So you apply for a job at Costa Coffee, and you have to prepare for an interview. So they give the context of the Costa Coffee website and the questions that they were practicing. And the great thing about it is that it transcribes. So you can read everything that you had in the conversation. Okay, so that's voice mode. And I think I think I spoke so fast that we got almost to the end, and then it's time for the questions, right? But if you we can go back to anything there, or even I could show you a little bit more, or projects. Claude has projects, ChatGPT has projects, and what else did I think that I could have spent some more time with you? Anyway, so for this session now, what do you think are going to be your main takeaways, if you want to pop into the chat, and your next steps there as well, and then we'll open for questions. Okay, so some of you are saying that your takeaway is going to be the project folder, the voice mode. I strongly recommend that you have a play with that. Absolutely, Alison. Projects does help tidy up our hundreds of chats that we have there. And actually, when you start a new project, you can drag and drop your old conversations in the project. So it's quite good. And you know, just reading here, I'll be more adventurous. I think absolutely. One of the things that I recommend to students, teachers, corporate clients is curiosity. And it's actually what they say about the 3 skills that we have now in this AI environment, which is creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking. What I try to instill in my learners is, for example, go back, it's just topical, the Black History Month. We mentioned Martin Luther King Jr. and I Have a Dream. And then they could quote why he was famous, and they talked about the I Have a Dream. And I said, aren't you curious to listen to this I Have a Dream speech? Have a look on YouTube. If you can't understand it, then ask an AI tool to simplify that speech for you. It's now we've got that tool that if you had a question in your head, just go for it. And I think, again, with corporate clients, students, and teachers, what I think it's very good is for us to use in our everyday life. For example, you open your fridge, you see 2 aubergines, and you can ask for a recipe using aubergines, because then you develop that fluency of thinking, oh, I said I had aubergine, but I didn't say I didn't have any onions. So he gave me a recipe with onions, and you decide, oh, it might be important in the future to either limit my ingredients or to say the ingredients that I don't have. Helen, yes, job interviews, fantastic. You will love that. Okay, so any other questions? I can see that Nathan, you joined us. I don't know if you have any questions yourself or
Sorry,
any
I
questions.
think it was a bit of backstage trickery. I asked a question, but I don't think I was part of the call. I was just monitoring the chat, Juliana. How can people maybe, I don't know if you do use it, but how can people maybe use Notebook LLM?
Oh my God, I love Notebook LLM.
I love it too.
I love it.
A lot of reports that we have to process into like a bite-sized piece. So I find it really useful. And my partner came home from work the other night, there was a podcast on, and I'd made it through Notebook LM, and he was like, "Oh my God, like that's AI." And I was like, "Yeah, like that's AI." But I'm guessing that you probably use it more sophisticatedly than I do. So
one of my favorite ways to use Notebook LM, and it's LM, not LLM, which a lot of people confuse because of large language model, but it's just LM, just one L. It's to digest policies. So every time the DFE puts a new AI policy out, or the UNESCO's policy now, I put it there and it creates a podcast for me, and I love it because I can go on my walk and kind of get familiarized with the concept. And also the Notebook LM, you've got length of the podcast, so if you choose the long one, it's actually very detailed. It's fantastic. I put the manuscript of my book in Notebook LM, and it created a 40-minute podcast. And the stuff that was picking out, I thought, oh my God, did I write this? This is so insightful. I had something that I had written and picked out things that I thought, oh my God, yeah, that was very important, actually. So it's some really, really worth an exploration. And they've added.
I think it's honestly amazing. Like the fact that my partner's a nurse. So my partner came home and he was like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just a rundown of the policy of the new white paper." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And
absolutely. So this is for you guys there. Write that down. Notebook LM. It's a Google product, and they've added new features now. It produces PowerPoint with video. Amazing. Really, my daughter just started university now, and I keep asking, have you started using Notebook LM yet? Because you can put a lot of different sources, teachers' PowerPoint and things like that. It's brilliant. Worth exploring, everyone.
Definitely.
Okay. Any other questions?
We do have a couple of questions in the Q&A. So someone has asked if you need ChatGPT Pro to use projects.
No. And actually, that's why I created a new account as well, because I do have a paid account, but that new account where I showed you, I demonstrate, it is the free account. So it used to be a paid feature. It's a free feature now. The only thing is it only gives you 5 uploads. Instead of, if you have the paid account, you can upload your specification, different, past papers. So you just choose your 5 uploads carefully, but it's still going to be a much easier way for you to organize the context, so that you don't have to repeat all the time, for my students, for example, so they don't have to say, I'm an ESO Intro 2 student, I'm an ESO Intro 3 student all the time, because it's going to be there on their folder. But no, it's available in the free version, and is available in the free version of Claude as well. So Claude also offers project.
Thank you. I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, but Salita has asked if ChatGPT can transcribe into British Sign Language.
I don't know the answer to this, but you know who does? ChatGPT. So we can just go on ChatGPT now and ask that question, and it will tell us. So I don't know. We could do it, or let's get into the habit of asking those questions.
Oh, Emma has just said it can't. She's just asked the free version. So there you go. That's your answer. ChatGPT has answered already. So if you had to pick just one AI tool to use forever, which would you pick?
Okay. For me, and that is because of my early use. I started using it would be ChatGPT, and it would be when I started using AI, it was because my students were using AI, and that was the tool that they were using. So I thought that's the tool I need to familiarize myself with, because it's the one that they use. And I've just recently done, because we got the 6-week cycle of that new course that I'm teaching, the Study Skills Meet AI, and I did a sort of a survey with them. Most still use ChatGPT as their AI, their go-to tool. So I think I need to understand the one that my students are using. But now also, because of the memory feature of AI, of ChatGPT, it caught me. Because, for example, if I'm presenting, I don't know, in an accountancy firm, and I want to send my bio to them, I just say, this, can you please write a short bio for this project here? Give the context. I don't need to write one line. It knows me now, so it has kind of kept me captive now, I think, and I do like the way. For example, when we looked at the Claude lesson today, Claude didn't offer to create my PowerPoint or my worksheets for me. So I quite like those little offers that ChatGPT gives me at the end of the chat, and often they are very useful. Whatever it asks. So yeah, it would be ChatGPT. For the moment, I'm one of my colleagues loves Gemini, and I have been exploring Gemini more. So maybe it will change, but for the minute, yes.
What about you, Nathan? One AI tool for the rest of your life, what would you go for?
The rest of your life.
I really like sorry, my dog's playing around. I really like the PowerPoint generator, and I am just thinking what it's called off the top of my head, because it's fantastic, and I really can't think of what is it called. So
Gamma AI.
Gamma, yes, Juliana, yeah, it's fantastic. So whenever I've done training for different colleges and stuff, the tool that they always pick out is, oh my god, this is going to save my life with making PowerPoints for certain topics, especially with ESOL, with articles, grammar, things like that. And I always make the suggestion that you must edit them because they can contain false information. But at the same time, they're a really good starting point, because it used to take me so long. I started teaching 2012, and I had to do everything myself. But at least having Gamma make a presentation for you, get the basics on the slide, and then you can edit that, turn it into materials, download it into a PDF for learners who might need to see it in advance. Yeah, I think it's amazing, and everyone I've showed it to also thinks it's a really good tool as well. So saves a lot of time. It does cost some. It does have a cost, I think, associated to it, but I haven't paid anything for it. So yeah.
We have now in our college available to us Canva, and Canva has got AI embedded in it now, so it's quite cool as well to get Canva to create your PowerPoints just with a prompt. So it's very similar to Gamma.
See, Canva frightens me a bit. It's the one tool I've never got my head around. With
Oh,
Gamma, no, I can do it. I can do it with Gamma, but Canva.
but the Canva AI, if you see it, you know, if it's available to you, is pretty much like Gamma. So you just prompt it and then it creates it for you, and it's editable, so you can edit.
Christopher has asked, have you used Comet browser yet?
I haven't personally. Have you, Nathan?
Heard of that this week, you know. So Comet is the browser made by, is it OpenAI? Is that the one that's, so they've made it to replicate Chrome, haven't they? So you use Comet instead of Chrome, and it basically uses like AI for it to present what it generates for you. I believe. I might be
Is it the AI one?
total rubbish here. But I believe it's the people, the ChatGPT version of a browser. So it's like Safari, Firefox, Chrome. Sorry, Juliana, you might know more than me.
No, you go ahead. I think it's very new, isn't it? Wasn't it the
Very new. Very
yeah.
new.
So Comet is there. I was just Googling it now. Google. So old-fashioned. I just Googled the one. So it's the Perplexity one.
The
So,
Perplexity one, yes.
but OpenAI released one yesterday, wasn't it? Or this week. OpenAI browser. Let's see what.
Yeah, I thought
because
I thought OpenAI was the comic one, but so that's Perplexity.
that's what it's saying here. Atlas.
This
In
is
GPT Atlas.
with AI at the moment. Like the second you think you've got your head around something, it evolves at such a pace, and then it becomes not redundant. It doesn't become redundant, but it does become a bit like, oh well, you're talking in the past. So yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. It's the changes are just so fast, aren't they? So 16 hours ago, it says ChatGPT opens OpenAI. ChatGPT Maker OpenAI releases web browser to rival Google, and it's ChatGPT Atlas. So this is a tip actually for everybody. Follow some thought leaders on LinkedIn and Instagram, because last night I saw this that Atlas had been released, because I follow so many people that post about AI, and then you get a lot of tips. You know, so I think it was Christopher who shared that, explained it to me as if I were 10. I learned it on Instagram. My Instagram used to be all about recipes. I would call food porn. But now it's AI.
I'm just going to carry on. I'm just going to start promoting Encarta, Microsoft Encarta from the 90s. And that way we only ever have so much knowledge. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
just
amazing.
gonna
That was
leave
an
here.
amazing presentation, by the way. That was fantastic.
I'm just gonna leave here my LinkedIn there, if you guys want to link with me, and it would be quite good for me to know about, you know, especially for you guys who had never used projects before or voice mode. You know, let me know how you're getting on with these new tools. I would be really interested in finding out how it will become part of your journey. And you know, as I said, 2 years ago, in this classroom actually, where I am delivering this session from, I knew nothing about AI, nothing. And it's just curiosity. The way I feel with AI is a little bit like maths and English, the way we are encouraged to, in every given opportunity, to do a little bit of fraction on the board with the students. It's every given opportunity. So for example, when ChatGPT produced my lesson yesterday with the 8 famous Black people, and they put 3 female and 5 male, and I realized when we were looking at the board, I said, okay, what is this? And then they were talking about, oh, that's bias. And then it's every opportunity to kind of get a little bit more and share a little bit more of insight with the students, and they are amazing. These, you know, the students, you give them a little bit, they come back and they say, so one of my students, ESOL students, said to me, I used it for fractions, and because of your prompt, I am an ESOL entry 2 student. Now I can understand the fraction explanation that I couldn't understand before. So, you know, that sort of thing.
That's so nice as well, because I left teaching in sort of 2021, so AI hadn't really become like a thing. And I can look back on it now, and I can, it's the possibilities now, especially like as an ESOL student or an English student, to practice in their own time as well, and like have a reading coach, have a that feedback immediately on how they're speaking to not a computer, an AI person. It's fantastic. Juliana, that was such a good session. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining in at the end of a day. And if you're
Brilliant.
like me,
Yeah, thank
teaching the
you.
whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me,
That was really brilliant. Sorry, Ellie, I'll hand back over to you now.
Oh no, all fine. Just to reiterate, yes, thank you very much for joining us, Juliana. It was a really great session. As we said, this has been recorded and will be available on demand on the website in the next couple of days, and we'll also be sharing the slides with everyone. Juliana's contact details are there for you to get in touch if you have anything else you'd like to discuss. But thank you very much, and hope to see you all again soon.
bye, everybody.
Thanks, Juliana.